Hello, good evening, and welcome to another edition of the Women's Magazine, a program that looks at issues that are affecting women, their achievements and contributions towards national development. In our tonight's program, we will take a look at the role of women in the education sector. Our second phase will be centered on the government of the Gambia signed the cockle and oyster fishery co-management plan. Members of the Tri-Oyster Association, the body responsible for the implementation of the plan, along with its partners, have reviewed the plan at the two-day meeting held at the Nana Conference Hall. I am Fatoumata Simaha. Thank you for joining us. We now look at a profile of an educationist who owns a school and is contributing immensely in the education sector. Our Rohibite tells us more on that in this interview.
Teachers play a pivotal role in the teaching and learning process and can make a great difference on students' achievement, especially nowadays when the importance of education for knowledge and information societies have been acknowledged worldwide. However, women play a very important role in education. Some establish schools to improve access to education. These two educationists, Aji Hadisen and Mariama Seka Dabo, share with us how they manage to own schools.
Actually, my motivation is my love for the profession. I started as a teacher January 1960. This is 53 years ago. And Mrs. Njai was my first head teacher at Malpa. Throughout since 1960, I taught for 2.5 years. When I have to leave to join my husband in England. I was there for 8 years. On my return, I went back to teaching. It's the only profession I know. Because when I was in England, I was working as such. So when I came back, I could have been in the offices because whilst I was there, I learned to type. Then typing was the order of the day. And I came back with brand new typewriter, which I was hoping to be able to use. Then I had the opportunity to be appointed as a clerk. Because then people there, the then establishment secretary, people I knew during the colonial time, and they were prepared to offer me a job. But I decided that I want to be a teacher. And this was so funny to this gentleman that he called me Mrs. Teacher until, correct, whenever he says me Mrs. Teacher, he would laugh and say, you are the only person who would want to be a teacher. But then that was my calling. I loved the job, and I thought since when I came back 70 to date, I retired about 13 years ago when the retirement age was just 55. Now I've celebrated my 69th birthday. My birthday I'll be 70, but I'm still at it because I love it. I started establishing a school in 2000, October 2000. I started with a nursery school, which is just behind the Libyan Mosque at Kutu South. Now, 3 years on, I had this land to establish a basic cycle school, that is grade 1 to 9. So actually I started in 2000 with a nursery school. Then 3 years after I had this land from the Department of Land to establish a primary school. It's meant to be a primary school, but thank God I've gone up to the upper level of the primary school called primary school, that is the upper basic. I've not taken loan from any bank. I've not seen any philanthropist. I've not seen anybody except when I was building the nursery school, the first building, I was sponsored by my daughter. And this was in 2000. From then on, the money generated by the school, I invest every bit back to develop the school. Not even my feeding or clothing, because my children are grown up. They are feeding me, they are clothing me. Even my last child is a medical doctor, so I don't need to save for them or to prepare anything for them. They are grown-ups. Even my grandchildren, 3 of them are in the universities at different ends of the world. So every budget is invest back to the school. Exactly. This is why this rapid development. Because right now I'm even started to build a madrasa school. When it's completed, I intend that section to be, well, they said madrasa, but I call it Arabic school. Because the medium of instruction will be Arabic. English will be taught there as a subject. But they will be handled mathematics, science, social studies, just like in the English sector here. Because here we are teaching English and French. And we are doing very well at that subject because the last exams we have about 7 children who had 1 in French, and previously we had about 5 in French. So these children are doing very well at that language. If they can combine these 2 languages in this section here, why not at the Arabic section? I hope that they'll be able to combine Arabic and English will be taught equally. And I intend that graduates from grade 6 at this section and at the section in the Arabic language will all converge at the upper basic, and they'll fight for positions in the high schools of their choice, because I haven't got a high school at the moment. If I can get another piece of land, obviously I invest in a high school, and I want it to be a technical high school. I am very technically minded. I'm very practical.
That was Aja Hadi Sen, the owner of Sino Primary School. Another woman, Maria Maseka Dabo, is also investing in the education sector. We have more on that in this interview with Rohi Bite about why, how, and what motivated her to invest in education. Stay tuned.
When I was starting the school in 1987, there was no nursery school in Jaipunda. So I decided that maybe if I try to start one, it will help parents not to travel far away to take their children to school. So this motivated me. By that time I was working in the hotel industry. So I started this school in 87. I faced a lot of challenges because in the first place, the first difficulty was to have a correct place, because when I started this school, I rented 2 rooms, a sitting room and a pillow, putting a curtain in the middle, then as 2 classes. Then during the next academic year in 1988, I have a lot of children, because as I told you, it was the first school in the community. So I was having another school under 3. So, and parents still have the courage to bring their children to school. So apart from that difficulty, the second difficulty was that being a teacher, not having any qualification, because by that time the Gambia College was not engaged to do nursery teachers certificate for qualified nursery school teachers. So that was also another constraint, because I was there, but parents still having the hope that maybe it will go through. They still bring their children with no qualifications, no good structure, no water supply, no electricity. If I tell you, it was really very difficult and hard, because before I go to school, I will wake up early in the morning, go around Manja area to fetch water, bring buckets of water, even the toilets.
And you were never discouraged?
Never.
During all this process?
Never. I was never discouraged. Even toilet, I was having just simple stools, that the younger ones will use, and after I will empty it, the oldest one will travel to my auntie's compound, which was not next after this school building. So with all these constraints, parents still wanted their children to be educated. When I started the school in 87, if I tell you the amount parents we are paying, we started from $2.50 per month to $5. Then lastly, it was Mr. Suleiman Juf, who was the headmaster of Bakote proper, who advised me to be charging per term. So that was the time I started charging $30 per term, and parents started to pay. By that time I was not having any sponsor, but in 1993 I met a dentist